Why does China not give Iran these missiles so they can destroy dollar hegemony? What makes you think China doesn't want dollar hegemony to continue? China stole a 4th-generation fighter design from Israel, but that was a long time ago. They're fielding 6th-generation fighters that the U.S. also doesn't have. No, I have it on good authority that their 6th-gen fighters are bullshit. Israel is hitting Beirut. Oh my God, Israeli forces are actively Beirut at the moment. Follows missile launches from southern Lebanon a little while ago. I genuinely think they're going to destroy themselves with their endless appetite for destruction. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think even America can defend Israel. At some point, it's gonna be like a 50-front war, dude. It's crazy. Beirut is live on Al Jazeera. Explosions in Beirut. This is what happens when you don't have defense, anti-aircraft defenses, because America cucked your country.
Strikes is still taking place. Rockets are being launched from Dahya itself. We'll get some details on this in a moment. But like I say, these are live pictures taking place right now. We don't know what the target is. Israel did say it was going to attack Beirut. It was going to attack the Lebanese territory because projectiles were launched from Lebanese territory into Israel. That launched air raid sirens across northern Israel. Hezbollah has claimed responsibility. I'm just hearing right now.
Why is Beirut being attacked? Because Hezbollah started launching rockets in the direction of the British base in Cyprus, and also in the direction of Haifa.
Rockets being launched into the air. These are extraordinary pictures, I have to say. I haven't seen this in Lebanon, in Beirut, for a very long time. Like I say, Hezbollah have claimed responsibility for the attacks taking place on Israeli territory. Projectiles fired earlier in the day. There was a response from the Israelis saying that they were going to attack Lebanese territory. Normally, those attacks have taken place in the south against what Israel calls Hezbollah infrastructure, but this now is taking place in the capital, Beirut. These are live pictures, as I say, coming from Beirut. Israeli airstrikes, Israeli drone strikes more likely coming in to that particular neighborhood there, and then fire, missiles being launched, rockets being launched back. Now, I am hearing that Hezbollah says it has launched missiles and drones towards Israel in retaliation for the killing of Iran's supreme leader, Khamenei. That is a Hezbollah statement there. Let's just stay with these pictures for a little while longer, but this seems like a far larger attack on Dahya than we've seen in a very long time. And that's a building that looks like it's just exploded.
Hezbollah confirms that it launched missiles at IDF base south of Haifa in retaliation for the Iranian Supreme Leader Khamenei in the 15 months of Israeli bombardment of Lebanon. This is the first time Hezbollah has attacked Israel since 2024.
Now, there is something that the Israelis
By the way, I just want you to know something. Israel never stopped bombing Lebanon. Many of you probably haven't been paying close attention to the situation, but Israel literally never stopped bombing Lebanon despite the ceasefire on the Hezbollah side. This is the first time Hezbollah has attacked Israel since 2024 when it fired a small barrage into northern Israel to war against Israeli violations of the then nascent ceasefire. Israel kept blowing up different parts of Lebanon whenever they saw fit. They would assassinate people over and over again. They targeted people over and over again, which is, of course, always the case with Israel. You cease, we fire. That's how the Israeli ceasefires work. Classic Israeli ceasefire.
Now, we've got a statement from the Israeli military. It says it's begun striking Hezbollah across Lebanon. So these are strikes that are taking place in Beirut. It's likely there are other strikes taking place in the south of Lebanon, where Israel says Hezbollah infrastructure is still in place and that Hezbollah is rebuilding its capacity to hit Iraq. That red flare you can see just coming up in your picture right now, that's tracer fire coming up. We don't know what they're aiming at there right there. It's likely to be the drones that are hovering above Lebanon's capital right now. But that smoke you can see is now coming from at least 3 different locations. And It seems to be a far wider attack that we've, like I say, seen in a very long time. So let's just recap what we know. Hezbollah says that it has taken responsibility for attacks in Israeli territory. Israel says it's going to launch.
I don't trust Wall Street Journal that much. But Iranian security chief Ali Larijani has made a fresh push to resume talks with Washington. Arab and U.S. officials say hours after the negotiations were halted by U.S.-Israeli strikes. Are you scared, worried? How do you feel? I mean, I'm sad. I'm sad all the time because we are a world led by some of the most evil monsters. Ali Larijani is overseeing Iran's security and military response to the war with Israel, and the U.S. continues, and Tehran looks for an exit, but he is not part of the leadership triumvirate formed after Khamenei's death. It's just everything sucks. All of this is unnecessary. It doesn't have to be this way. A better world and a better future is possible. And yet, every powerful force on the planet keeps telling you, no, this is the only way forward. There is no better future possible. Only death and destruction.
Yeah. Yes.
Larijani is a hardliner. I don't think he would. I mean, I think he's a hardliner, but you know, he might wanna take the reins. He might have a different design.
They use. Now, I've spent a lot of time in Beirut. I've seen those drones fly overhead. We're going to go now to Nida Ibrahim, who is in Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. Nida, it was only about 20 minutes ago that we were talking, that you told me that Israel was about to take a strike at Lebanese territory. Here it is. Here's that strike. What was that statement from the Israeli army? Just recap what that statement said.
Well, the statement that we just received from the Israeli army is that they're going to start attacking, and they indeed started attacking Lebanese targets following the projectiles that were sent from Hezbollah's side towards Israeli territory. We're talking about the north of Israel. Now, the information that we got when we and you last talked was about Israeli media suggesting that the Israeli army would crack down and start striking in Lebanon soon as were identified, or the projectiles were identified to be coming from Lebanon. So they really spared no time and attacked right away. But we also now have the confirmation from Hezbollah confirming that these projectiles were sent in retaliation of the killing of the Iranian supreme leader after Israel and the US started their attack on Iran early on Saturday. Of course, that breaks the ceasefire that was in place since November 2024. And we know that Israel continued attacking Hezbollah and Lebanese soils since the ceasefire started. But Hezbollah, at its end, it says that it had committed to the ceasefire while Israel continued to break it under different reasons. Would say that Hezbollah is talking more.
How do you maintain optimism seeing my country being like this, especially after a finished imperialism, high stage of capitalism? I can't see how we begin to fight these pedophiles.
Why they're continuing to.
You got to lead into small victories you get every now and then, whether it be something as silly as like being able to convert someone, being able to actually get someone to recognize the truth about Israel, or recognize the truth about America, recognize the truth about like anything. Okay, like there is no victory that's too small. Okay. You have to lean into small victories, whether it be like broad awareness initiatives or whatnot, whether it's a protest, whether it's getting someone elected into a position of power. You have to lean into those things. And not only that, the Ayatollah got destroyed, Lamau, brother. Like, why do you think I care? I don't, like, this is the type of shit that I don't understand, because like, you're doing racism, but you're not even doing it right. Like, first of all, I'm Sunni, okay? I'm a Sunni Muslim. Why the f do I care about the Pope of Shias, okay? I just care about the Iranian people. I don't want the Iranian nation to be destabilized to such a degree that it turns into Libya, okay? That's it. Like, it's so stupid. It's so stupid when we come in here and be like, bro, they smoked your Ayatollah. It's like, brother, I know that you think like, oh, Muslim, Hasan, his name is Hasan, he's Muslim. Not exactly a religious Sunni either, okay? The Ayatollah was also 87 years old. Why the, like, he could have sneezing. He could have gone out, fallen off a flight of fucking stairs. Like, what are you talking about? They martyred him in the middle of Ramadan while he was fasting in his own home. Like, what do you mean?
Between Hezbollah and Israel, it was damaged extensively. But this, Heidi, looks like a far larger strike than we've seen in recent years. Now, of course, there was this ceasefire. That ceasefire didn't take, it's never really in place because Israel violated it. The Lebanese PM just a couple of days ago was talking about...
CNN reports new Pentagon briefers acknowledged to congressional staff in a briefing Sunday that Iran was not planning to strike U.S. forces or bases in the Middle East unless Israel attacked Iran first. Why this matters, it undercuts Trump admin's argument on Saturday that Iran was planning to potentially strike the U.S. preemptively and pose an imminent threat. Yeah, no shit. Briefers pointed to Iran's ballistic missile program and proxy forces as evidence that they pose a threat to U.S. forces in the region, but sources noted that has been true for years and did not support the Trump administration's argument that the U.S. needed to attack Iran first. Reuters and Axios reported right off the bat that the war was planned since December and the date was set more than a week in advance. Anyone who believes the spin about an imminent Iranian attack or even stubbornness at the negotiating tables has rocks for brains. Yes, also, this comes after they already did this negotiation, like this fake negotiation in the 12-day war, and then struck Iran in the beginning of the 12-day war. I'm like, this is why I say I don't think we're getting like particularly better at reading through the propaganda. I think the propaganda is getting worse. It feels like their heart is not in it, you know, which is fine, I guess. I mean, it helps my job a little bit, even though it causes me to mauled quite a bit because people still come in here and go, dude, the Ayatollah got smoked. Bro, Iran was trying to actually fight first, and we showed them what's what. Iran understands that many in the American security establishment have been convinced that Iran's past restraint reflected weakness and an inability or unwillingness to face the U.S. in a direct war. Tehran is now doing everything it can to demonstrate the opposite, despite the massive cost it itself will pay. Ironically, the Khamenei facilitated the shift. So this was Trita Parsi's analysis from Quincy Institute, by the way. That I never actually finished. I talked about ceasefire. It must be, the cost must be higher for America, for Iran to get on board with it. From the outset, accordingly, Iran has shifted its strategy. It is striking Israel, but very differently from the June war. There is constant level of attack throughout the day. Rather than a salvo of 50 missiles at once, damage will be less, but that isn't a problem because Tehran has concluded that Israel's pain tolerance is very high as long as the U.S. stays in power. So the focus shifts to the U.S. From the outset. Well, what Iran doesn't realize is for the petro-capitalist pedophilic cabal, no amount of human casualties is also going to be too high unless their family members take it to the fucking streets, unless the MAGA base starts getting pissed off. So that's the other side of the story as well, because America's casualty appetite is also much higher too. Like, they don't give a shit. They'll send a bunch of 18-year-olds. From the outset, and perhaps surprisingly, Iran has been targeting U.S. bases in the region, including against friendly states. Tehran calculates that the war can only end durably if the cost for the U.S. rises dramatically, including American casualties. Can't wait for you to get banned again? Why? No, seriously. Seriously, what is that? What will that do for you? Let's say I get banned. Is your life going to get better, you think? Because you could just as easily tune out, you know? I will never understand this kind of stuff where it's like, why do you allow me to occupy so much space in your mind? You know, there are millions of outlets out there that do the exact opposite kind of coverage to myself. As a matter of fact, I'm one of the very few places where you can get this kind of coverage. So what is it? Like, you can go to CNN to get a liberal version of why we must bomb Iran and do intervention. You can go to Fox News to hear a right-wing version of why we must bomb Iran and do an intervention. You can go to a million different quote-unquote independent outlets that are also churning out that same pro-Trump propaganda. You can go to watch Asmongold where he goes, yeah, based, yeah, based. Swap tubers keep putting out videos hating on you on their timeline. Yeah. But that's what I don't understand, right? Like, if you're upset with what I have to say, you can just avoid it. You can just avoid it. So why do you put yourself through this process? You know, let's say I don't even get banned. Let's say I get killed. Okay. Do you think that that is going to materially improve your life? What will that do? Nothing. No, they can't avoid it because the other streamers talk about you too. I know, but even if I die, they're gonna still keep going into the library of content to be like, yeah, well, he deserved it and here's why. You know what I mean? Hating on you for being more in line with the popular opinion, yeah, I think is a lot more popular among the masses than people actually think it is. Having said that, however, it's not reflected in mainstream outlets. It's not even reflected that much in the independent side of the media. But if you're frustrated with what I have to say, because I'm a political commentator after all, if you're frustrated with what I have to say, then you can just as easily tune me out and get all of the bias confirmation that you want. You know? All of the bias confirmation that you want to your heart's desire. It's very strange. Anyway, it truly doesn't make any sense. Like, I'll never understand it. It truly doesn't make any sense whatsoever when people are just like, my entire worldview is around hating one individual. Like, I don't have any politics. I don't have any political perspectives at all. I'm just addicted to hating you. I have such an emotional connection. I have such an emotional connection to just like opposing whatever you stand for, because I am literally just cattle. I'm just cattle. I have no thoughts of my own. It's because your worldview is scary as fuck. I know. Don't murder children, please. Very scary worldview. Spend money on America instead of spending money fighting Israel's wars. Terrifying. So, as I was saying though, like, how can you be so utterly devoid of having your own perspective that you hear from enough like content creators on the internet that you desperately lean into for entertainment and for political coverage? And they keep telling you like, I'm a fucking villain over and over again. And you, instead of like seeking out your own perspective, having a fully fleshed out worldview, you decide, you know what? Fuck this guy. And I'm actually going to go to a stream and I'm actually going to tell everybody this guy fucking sucks. I'm going to tell him he sucks. I can't wait for him to get banned. You know? Like, think critically. That's all I'm saying. Please think critically. Please, man, 50,000 people don't want to listen to you whining about how some folks don't like you. Perma. All right, let me take 1 second out, you know? Can I do that? Can I take 1 second out? 55-month subscriber. It's been 6 hours and 7 minutes. Can I do 1 minute? Am I allowed? No. Is Trita Parsi reputable? Yes, brother. What the fuck? He's literally the executive vice president of the Quincy Institute. It's like one of the few anti-interventionist think tanks in Washington, D.C., you know? That doesn't make him reputable. What makes someone reputable? I mean, he has good takes. He has some bad takes as well, but Quincy Institute is pretty solid. There hasn't been a single voice on Iran more historically correct about Iran more than Trita. That's what makes him reputable. Yeah, that too. I think he understands Iran not being based in Washington, D.C. What? Why can't we say USA bad, lol? Wait, what? Yes, we can. We say it all the time. Quincy Institute is good. The other one is, what is it? There's two think tanks that are just like kind of anti-interventionist. That's it. Oh no, it's not they caught you. Were you in Texas? Hasan insinuates that the terrorist attack in Austin was a false flag because he was wearing a Property of Allah shirt. Meanwhile, he owns the same shirt. H3 Productions. Wait, are they saying that like I'm somehow responsible for the fucking attack in Austin? Is that where we're at? Yeah, responsible statecraft. But I think responsible statecraft might be. Is that also part of Quincy Institute? Bro, Ethan's audience they're so crazy. Like this is nasty, dude. This is some lunatic shit. Yeah, I think responsible statecraft is Quincy. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that an audience filled to the brim with liberal Zionists and ultra Zionists who have aligned themselves with every right-wing shithead, every pro-Trump shithead would, insinuate that I'm somehow involved. That's cool. It's just, things happen all around the world. What is this? You're totally right, man. One is accused of having a trading collar with a vibrant function. He talks politics and actually holds him accountable. The other guy posed next to a pedo 34 times felon, convicted sex offender, genocide participant. You're so right. Glass houses. Yeah. It's also not the same shirt. Not that it fucking matters. Fox News has obtained a photo of the Austin, Texas mass shooter in armed wearing a sweater that says Property of Allah. He has not been identified. by authorities, but multiple federal law enforcement sources tell Fox that a 53-year-old naturalized U.S. citizen who was born in Senegal was living in Lugerville, Texas. I am told he was also wearing an undershirt that had the Iranian flag on it. I don't think that's the argument, to be honest. I think they're just pointing out that that's not a good piece of evidence. I don't think that's the argument, to be honest. Wait, I never said that it was a false flag because he was wearing a property of Allah shirt. I didn't say that that was the only reason why it was. It had the markings of a false flag. I said the timing of it was awfully suspicious. Also, you do realize that they made this post just to like terror jacket me, right? You understand that 44-month subscriber, like you don't have to hand it to white liberal Zionists on a daily fucking basis like this hard, you know? You get what they're doing, right? Like that's not, is it that difficult for you to comprehend? Do I have to write it out for you? They're like, oh, Muslim guy, he also wears a property of Allah sweatshirt, just like this terrorist did. Like, do you think there is a reason why they're doing this? Or do you think it's just, I mean, I don't doubt it. Okay, well, then don't fucking come in here to try to do this like hyper rationalization shit. This community fucking sucks some days, man. Chatter bypasses Ottoman for Lincoln H3 slop shit through and Imgur. Other chatter believes the Reddit post seriously. Now we're derailed for 25 minutes instead of 10. It's true. What does terror jacket mean? Terror jacketing is when you suspect someone falsely or accuse someone falsely of being a terrorist or insinuate that they're a terrorist. What is this? There's no good that comes from covering him. You're playing into his hand with this and a 40-month sub. You're right. I should just fucking eat it. I should just eat it. You're right. We should have a supposedly liberal group, a liberal content creator and a fucking audience that is comprised entirely of right-wingers now. Just fucking say that a terror attack happened and look at this guy. He's just like this other Muslim guy that we hate. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that it hurts your feelings that I did that. Yeah.
And again, it is not the intention of the U.S. government to invade. That is not what is happening. These are isolated strategic.
Oh, we're at this is not a real war moment.
Large-scale attacks.
What take a Tarita is bad out of curiosity? I don't know, chatter. Where the fuck was I? What was I doing? I can't even finish this one fucking thing. From the outset, and perhaps surprisingly, Iran has been targeting U.S. bases in the region, including against friendly states. Tehran calculates that the war can only end durably if the cost of the U.S. rises dramatically, including American casualties. After the assassination of Ayatollah Khamenei, Iran says it has no red lines left and will go all out in seeking the destruction of these bases and high American casualties. Iran understands that many in the American security establishment have been convinced that Iran's past restraint reflected weakness and an inability or unwillingness to face the U.S. in a direct war. Tehran is now doing everything it can to demonstrate the opposite. Despite the massive cost it itself will pay. Ironically, the assassination of Khamenei facilitated this shift. One aspect of this is that Iran has now also struck bases in Cyprus, which is being used for attacks against Iran. Iran is well aware that this is an attack on an EU state, but that seems to be the point. Tehran appears intent on not only expanding the war into the Persian Gulf states, but also into Europe. Note the attack on the French base in the UAE. For the war to be able to end, Europe has to pay a cost, the reasoning appears to be. There appears to be only limited concern about the internal situation. The announcement of Khamenei's death opened a window for people to pour into the streets and seek to overthrow the regime. Though expressions of joy were widespread, no real mobilization was seen. That window is now closing as the theocratic system closes ranks and establishes a new formal leadership. Again, the question, how will this end, should have been asked before this war was triggered. It wasn't. Trump offered several visions of how power might be transferred to a new government, and among the options he suggested was an outcome similar to what he engineered in Venezuela, according to the New York Times. No, it's not up to Donald. Yeah, you're not wrong. Okay, but not in the way that you think. There's one other guy in there that's going to do everything in his power to make sure that that doesn't happen. His name is Benjamin Netanyahu, for those who didn't understand the point I was trying to make. I'm saying Benjamin Netanyahu gets to decide. Yes, Cuba is next, by the way. It's true. Tormented generations of American presidents as U.S. and Israeli missiles fell on Iran this weekend, just weeks after Donald Trump ordered a lightning strike that put Venezuela's president in a New York City courtroom. Trump is already eyeing his next target, Cuba. The president is feeling like, I'm on a roll. Like, this is working, one administration official told me. Madness, dude. He is fucking insane. Yes, Cuba is next. The Cuban situation came to a halt for a little bit because they shifted their attention over to Iran. And I mean, he's so insane. Yeah. That's how Hitler felt after Blitzkrieg worked initially. Yeah, except the Blitzkrieg is not working. Yes, I know Hezbollah entered. Yes, I know. Rockets launched from Lebanon. Reports and seen on live TV. No alerts yet. Yes, I know. I already covered it. Yeah.
But again, there are negotiations that will take place, or at least open communication with the White House as soon as the president decides that he is ready to talk. And that has developed in the last couple of hours. So that update will come hopefully later on this evening.
I'm sorry, you say it's not the intention of the U.S. government to invade? Did we not just invade?
We are not invading. Are you saying,
Oh, is Iran depleted at this point? Fuck no. Not only do I think that Iran is not depleted, I mean, they're still fucking constantly striking Israel and everyone else in the region. I don't even think they've had a good enough shot at the Iranian missile launchers.
seeing boots on the ground there? Because I'm not. And I've been told directly by the State Department and the White House that that's not the intention.
I mean, we just killed the leader of the country. That's not... Okay.
Targeted strategic military strikes and invasions are two totally different things, according to military terminology.
They're calling it a war. The president has called it a war.
And targeted airstrikes
strategic strikes, and according to the White House, and I just talked to them and talked to the Secretary of State, strategic strikes are not war.
Really? So if someone bombed America,
do you see
that
boots on the ground?
War? Oh wait, that makes no sense. So you're saying it has to be boots on the ground?
According to your own by definition,
so that's your standard.
The regime
so
of Iran has killed thousands of Americans and murdered them. So by definition, they've already declared war in the United States.
I've had GI missiles raining down on me too. I know how terrible the Iranian regime is. We are not debating that they are a truly terrible regime. What we're talking about is the standard for the commander-in-chief to commit our sons and daughters in the military to war, and going to war when it is in the national interest, and making that case to America and going to Congress and getting approval for war. So you are saying this is a limited mission that is only bomb strikes, so there is no congressional authorization necessary. How is this different from when Joe Biden bombed the Houthi rebels in Yemen without congressional authorization, and you oppose that?
I mean, Trump did it too. You see, when Trump did it, it was good. When Biden did it, it was bad. Oh, let's go back to General Spider Marks.
Your description early on was, who goes to Abu Dhabi and expects this? Who's in the Emirates and expects this? Who goes to Europe and would expect anything different than what we're seeing right now in terms of terrorist activity? So when we look at this in terms of the timing, look, the president has indicated that this may be 4 weeks long. What we need to look for is, what are the indicators that the IRGC might be fracturing? And is there any indication that the population is prepared to rise up and maybe try to accelerate that fracturing? If we don't see that, this is not a 4-week fight. We're going to have to make a determination before then. It's time to cut bait.
And so, Alexander, when you look at what's happening in the UAE and Iran's striking out at countries that were certainly not its friends, okay, but weren't its sworn enemies ready to attack them in the way that, of course, Israel and Iran have been. I'm referring to the UAE as an example. So how much support is there? Because, yes, we hear them having these meetings. They had a Zoom call. They're clearly shocked and frozen and upset, okay? But does that mean that they support an escalating war?
The public messaging that we're getting is that they're not supportive of an escalating war. They want this to end now. However, it's also quite unprecedented for practically all of the Gulf states, maybe with the exception of Kuwait several decades ago. So there's a lot of pressure on them. Many of their economies are reliant also on foreign workers, and although their airspace is closed at the moment, I think these governments would be cautious on how the public is feeling and what is happening to public sentiment.
Well, the airspace being closed, I just think we can't emphasize how big of a deal that is, with the busiest airport in the world in the center of that, and that there's a clock ticking on that, and that it's important. It's not a small factor. Kareem, I want to play something else that Iran's foreign minister said today that really gets to the heart of all of this. Here he is.
As a matter of fact, our military units are now in fact independent and somehow isolated, and they are acting based on instructions, general instructions given to them in advance.
Okay, Kareem, when I heard that, I sort of thought, whoa, whoa, did Minister Arakci just said they're based on instructions basically given before leadership was taken out. General instructions.
Yes, it's protocol. It's protocol. That's what it is. For this exact reason. For this exact same reason. That's the whole point. They planned it.
Of Iran.
It's not clear, Aaron. There's an enormous leadership vacuum. Anytime a leader who's been ruling for 37 years is killed, that leaves an enormous vacuum. There's also a military leadership vacuum. You know, they say about dictatorships that they kill the most once when they first come to power and when they're leaving power. And
you see, this thing that actually disproves the point I'm making somehow confirms my priors.
When they're fighting for their survival, this regime really has no reliable allies in the world, and the only thing it can do is lash out at its neighbors, target civilians, in the hopes that those neighbors will pressure the United States to stop. But this is a regime which is its existence is at stake, and it's doing the only thing that it knows to do, which is to lash out violently.
What?
General Marks.
They're literally, what? We've had 2 decades to study defeats of the U.S. military to our immediate east and west. We've incorporated lessons accordingly. Bombings in our capital have no impact on our ability to conduct war. Decentralized mosaic defense enables us to decide when and how the war will end. Yeah, I can't believe that they looked at the situation where they're like, well, they designed a contingency plan and have a horizontal leadership structure that's decentralized in an act where like there is a multiple there is a decapitation strike both on the head of state and also the leadership of the generals, that they designed a contingency around that, which shows that the state is operating exactly in the ways that it's supposed to. It actually means that the regime is falling apart.
It's going to be good enough, or it's going to be exactly what this administration wants.
Yeah, this is their cheating side of the argument.
Not only the preparation of our troops, but it's the nature of what's going to happen with the IRGC during this incredible period of chaos. Are they going to fracture? Are they going to hold together? That's the indicator. It's not the preparation and the force protection and the immense capability that we have in the region. It's what's happening inside Iran and how they are withstanding and how they
yes, the only thing that they can rely on now is a hope and a dream that enough Iranians are so mad that they take up arms and then they like magically take control over the government, or at least like actively destabilize it at a time when the government is like literally punishing all of the people responsible for the bombing. Iranian forces declared that the Kuwait base is unusable anymore. Go to drop site news. That's crazy. Wow.
So how are you?
Oh yeah, fucking Eric Prince is complaining, by the way, on Steve Bannon on the Epstein war room.
I'm not happy about the whole thing. I don't think this was in America's interest. It's going to uncover.
He's just mad that they didn't ask him to do it. You know, he's like, I'm stuck in Kenya. I'm not happy about this at all. I'm working in Kenya. I have to tune into the Steve Bannon broadcast from my car. I used to write opinion editorials for the New York Times, dude.
Uncork a significant can of worms and chaos and destruction.
Oh wait, is he in Haiti? I thought he was in Africa for a little bit.
In Iran now. Who takes over? You still have tens, hundreds of thousands of IRGC people that will be positioning to be number 2, to be the next rulers of that country. I don't see how this is in keeping with the president's MAGA commitment. I'm disappointed.
Dude, is Hen Mazik really asking where international law? From multiple explosions and divisions of missiles, the latest barrage launch from Iran tonight might include cluster munitions. This is a war crime. They are banned under international law. I'm sorry, they're banned under what? Says Ryan Grimm. Who were the 2 countries that were in opposition to that? Dude, when Israelis, come on, man. Israelis demanding international law is so funny. Representative Nancy Mace on Representative Ilhan Omar, I'm ready to denaturalize her and deport her to Somalia. What's up with these people? They say Somalian all the fucking time, which is incorrect. And the one time where you're supposed to say Somalia, you say Somali. What is happening? Either say Somalia for both, and one is incorrect, and the other accidentally is correct, or say Somali for both, and then one is correct and one is incorrect. She got both wrong.
Liberator of women around the world. You're making a very important point. And here's a woman in Congress you serve with.
Oh, yeah. Great liberation of women, liberating them from their fucking lives.
Ilhan Omar responding to you on X saying, I hope you aren't drunk, and took your staff's advice. Rashida and I, Tlaib, of course, don't know this man and feel confident he didn't care about us. Please restrain from drinking too much. As you've been warned from your staff, stay off social media. I don't know what she's talking about, but I pray in this holy month you find peace and respect for yourself. I think she had lashed out at the idea that the president moved forward with this because, as I understand it, there was intelligence saying there was a target, Ayatollah and other leaders. She's complaining that the attack came during Ramadan. And Rashida Tlaib, by the way, is attacking both the United States and Israel, another member of the squad, and saying they shouldn't have done.
Bro, that one was so crazy. Should Rashida Tlaib have said, we are killing children? Like, they didn't even care about it. Like, everyone's response to Rashida Tlaib saying, when referencing, like, America and Israel, and using the royal they, was really interesting because they were like, no, Rashida, you're so wrong. We, alongside Israel, are killing the children. We, you see, it is us. We are killing the children. Please get it right.
This as if the U.S. is a foreign country to her. Could you unpack some of that?
Well, I don't give a damn if it's Ramadan. I don't care if Muslims are fasting right now. This was the right time with the right intel, the right president to go in there and do this, and he'll have his chance to explain it, or his secretaries to Congress. And she was also responding because I was complaining about that. Where was she when Jews were slaughtered? Over 1,000 Jews were slaughtered in Israel by Hamas, by Palestinians on a Jewish holiday. I don't remember her complaining about that. And when she said that very defamatory statement about me in the middle of the night, by the way, what was she doing in the middle of the night? But I asked her what it was like to be married to your brother. I mean, like, she has no room to attack anyone on any issue, quite frankly. And I'm ready to denaturalize and deport her to Somalia. Let's go.
There you go. You've said.
Oh, she says Somalia. I was wrong.
That before.
Aaron Rupar gave her the bad edit. She's hammered, right? She seems hammered.
Which has surprised many because it seems to be a shift from what the United States, at least, hopes were initially.
Bro, I really don't know how CNN is going to be more pro-Israel after the Ellison takeover. I've been thinking about this quite a bit. We've been tuning in, and they either like already changed their editorial control to make it already like maximum pro-Israel. Like, I just don't know how they're going to be more pro-Trump and pro-Israel than this.
Perhaps they don't, but it also is a question of what kind of a damage they can do before we get to the 4-week mark. And also, President Trump's words really don't have much credibility because he says one thing and then he shifts. First, it's about regime change. Then he says he's willing to talk to the Iranians.
Cooper learn Hebrew.
Now he says he may stay there for 4 weeks. And so I think the Iranians are not listening to the dates that he's putting down. They actually have a plan, and the plan is that they gradually will try to expand the scope of the areas of risk and defense that the United States has to contend with. The U.S. started this war planning to only defend Israel by bringing the aircraft carrier Ford to Haifa. But now it is being put in a position that it has to plan for defending all the GCC countries, shipping lanes and energy sources, tankers, Straits of Hormuz.
Bro, America won't even defend their troops in the GCC countries. What are we talking about? No, they only care about Israel. This is what I keep explaining to people, and they don't want to fucking hear it for some weird reason. Even after Benjamin Netanyahu was like, thank you, Mr. President, this has been my childhood dream, and you gave it to me. But like, they specifically moved all of their assets to Israel, and they have all their aerial surveillance between Iran and Israel. Okay? They only care about defending Israel, and they're still not doing a good job at defending Israel. They're still getting fucking lasered with Iranian rockets over and over again.
Well, anybody coming in right now, it would take them a long time before they establish authority. Khamenei, even before he died, he delegated most of the decision-making, particularly wartime decision-making, to commanders, to his national security advisor, to various branches of the government. This is part of the strategy of surviving decapitation. They wanted a system that you could not paralyze by killing 1 or 2 or 3 people. This worked for them during the June War when Israel killed 30
Iran's plan is bombing everyone except Israel? Bitch, have you not been paying attention? You think Iran is not bombing Israel? What are you, fucking nuts? I think they're doing a sufficient amount of bombing Israel as well as every other country that has American military bases.
They will choose someone.
Except for Turkey, which is true.
Right now looking for that someone to come first day in the office and take command of everything.
Also, they hit a hospital in Iran earlier. Wait, did they do it again? Yeah. Oh, no, this is from 3 p.m. Yeah. New strike damages 8 hospital and emergency bases in 2 days of U.S.-Israeli attacks on Iran. Gandhi Hospital was hit in Tehran, which is, you know, unsurprising. When Israel and America come to town, they fucking blow up the schools where little schoolgirls are going to school, and then they blow up the hospitals too. That's like classic. Why aren't they bombing Turkey? Not that I want to get bombed, Lamau, but why? I don't know. Maybe because the Turkish government has said that they don't want that they have no involvement in it. Turkey does kind of stay out of the Israel stuff, with the exception of like literally giving Israel energy, sending Israel energy. Turkey doesn't, like all the Gulf nation states that have American bases, it's NATO too. That's true. There's also NATO. That might be the reason. But all the Gulf nation states intercept Iranian rockets going to Israel. They intercept Houthi rockets going to Israel. They intercept Iranian rockets that go to Israel. Turkey doesn't do that. Also, Turkey has its own military. None of these Gulf states have like a real standing military. They have hired guns, like in the case of UAE. Like they have Colombian mercenaries, or they have no standing military at all. They have like functionally no standing military. They just have like American equipment, and they just have the American military. Also, I suspect they will probably rely on Turkey to keep Kurdish militias at bay at some point if it really gets out of hand. So I suspect there's that angle as well, because Iran has a Kurdish ethnic minority in it as well. But there are, I mean, it's not a secret that America loves using Kurdish militias to destabilize areas whenever they see fit. And I think that's what they're going to do in Iran as well. That's why they're like gearing up for an opening. Shitgar has been a hotbed of opposition. It's likely that some of the people killed in these airstrikes were protesters, perhaps even supporters of foreign intervention. Yeah. Target and precision strikes called a friend of mine who lives there, and he was cheering. Chat is moving so fast, no one will know. No one will notice I like big booty Latinas. Dude, they're definitely going to invade Lebanon. I've seen too many thirsty warmongers on Twitter. Official security sources to Al Jadid, the rocket launch operation was carried out from north of Litani area near the town of Tibna. I mean, do they even have the fucking... Do they even have the motion? I don't know. Ground battle with Hezbollah, even if Hezbollah is diminished, is not something in the cards for I think the IDF right now. I'll be honest. Took a second to check Twitter, and holy shit, JD is so unbelievably Rizless. I cannot believe.
Certainly empathize with Americans who are exhausted after 25 years of foreign entanglements in the Middle East. I understand the concern, but the difference is that back then we had dumb presidents, and now we have a president who actually knows how to accomplish.
Oh shit, my mistake. I didn't realize it was those guys. Bro, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. They can't even get together and put forward like a halfway decent response. And unfortunately, we might prove them right that they might not even need to, you know?
America's national security objectives. So this is not going to be some long drawn out thing.
I suspect this is an earlier clip, by the way. This is not a recent one.
Job of setting their nuclear program back. We're going to now work to permanently dismantle that nuclear program over the coming years, and that is what the president has set out to do. Simple principle. Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. That is animated American policy.
New statements from Trump to the New York Times. The U.S. military intends to continue its attack on Iran for 4 to 5 weeks if necessary. Special military operation, folks. Nothing to see here, obviously. The Pentagon maintains sufficient forces, missiles, and bombs to continue a military attack on Iran if necessary. We have large quantities of ammunition stored around the world, and it won't be difficult to continue the attacks. He just keeps saying, we don't have a resource problem, which makes me feel like he has a resource problem, or at the very least, he's heard from his generals that he has a resource problem, because he keeps stressing that our munitions are there. We have the logistics, we have the supply chain. I promise you we have enough guns and we have enough bullets. Please, nobody put it in the newspaper that we don't have enough bullets. Everything is A-okay. I would like for the war to continue. I would like to keep striking Iran. You believe it. Yeah, Kiev in 3 days ass president, dude. I don't think the Arab countries in the Gulf need to join the United States in striking Iran. Sanctions on Iran could be lifted if the new leadership proves itself to be a pragmatic partner. Iran has been greatly weakened and I expect it to be subdued in the end. I have 3 very good options leading Iran and I won't reveal them now. Let's finish the task first. If Iran is in some scenario defeated, who will stop Israel from further expanding its borders into Arab countries? No one. That's it. No one. No one at all. I mean, let's be real. If Iran hasn't even been able to stop Israel from expanding into other countries' borders regardless. It appears that an aircraft strayed too deep into Iranian airspace and was down. The scale of the explosion suggests it was not a drone.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
Persians, man. Iranis.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
I love this accent so much. Allah. I don't even know how to do it.
Allahu Akbar!
What the fuck? No, this is fake, right? Where is this from? I don't believe this. No, this is fake. There's no shot. I don't. Where is? I haven't seen this anywhere else. This has been out for 3 hours. Most likely fucking fake. 10 interceptors versus 1 Iranian missile. Yeah, we watched this happen live. That's bigger than a fighter jet explosion would be. First time I've ever seen a circuit breaker triggered on an upward price movement. Total chud, financial destruction coming. Circuit breaker triggered at New York Mex crude oil open. NY Mex crude oil open. Macro edge. Is this good? Hey, yo, this HasanAbi hit is popping off.
You're gonna die for Israel, you stupid fuck! Everyone will hate you for the rest of your life! You're fucking pathetic, dude! You're fucking pathetic! You're coward shit with this asymmetrical shit. Y'all don't know how to do a fair fight, do you? You would never last in a fair fucking fight.
Back up.
No!
Back up.
Don't tell
Back
me what
up.
to do! Don't
Back
make
up.
it work for me!
Back up.
Every family member you have is going to fucking deny that they're related to you! You guys are fucking pathetic! Look at you can't even look at us in the eye. You know you're on the wrong side of history. You're fucking ashamed. Look at him, ready to fucking change the safety like you're gonna fucking shoot anybody, you coward-ass bitch. You ain't gonna do nothing. You aren't gonna do nothing. This ain't Call of Duty, kid. Go home. This ain't 12 Prestige. This is real life. You know what would be the end of the world? The Nuremberg trials. Did you finish enough schooling to learn what that is? Do you know what they did to people who protected fucking places where they took children in the Nuremberg trials? Do you know what happened? If you finished school, you might have learned what happened after World War II. You should look up what happened to Nazi war criminals. You ever been shot at? No, you haven't. You haven't seen combat. What, maybe you got pepper sprayed in fucking boot camp? You don't know shit, dude. You haven't seen anything. You could grow up and have a real life. But no, you're fucking here. Protecting children getting put in cages. It's pathetic. It's actually pathetic. Half of these kids look like they're about to burst into tears. They're fucking children holding assault rifles. It's pathetic. You're used as political pawns. You don't care. You're just following orders, right? That was not an acceptable defense at the Nuremberg trial. You actually have it. You have systems in place in your military to be a conscientious objector, but you are refusing to take those channels because you are afraid of the executive branch coming after you. So you are intimidated into just being pawns for a political system rather than actually serving your oath. You can't think critically. You can't have independent thought. It's not permitted. So here you are with your finger itchy by the safety, ready to fucking shoot the civilians of the country.
What? This isn't ICE? This isn't how you get military to sympathize with the civilians? They're just trying to get housing and med? I fucking hate this side of the left. Okay, buddy. I'm not like a fucking troop exploder leftist at all, but there is a fucking, there's a limit, okay? Fuck you mean? They're positioned outside of an ICE facility, dumbass. Suck my dick. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Holy shit. Yeah, as long as they fucking resign, you know, and become anti-war, then that's fine. But that's crazy to me that you're over here being like, nah, dude, you don't understand. Clean Vermont, clean Vermont, clean Vermont theory in the big 226. That guy had Fred Hampton in their username? Stop. All those you can refuse orders things is bullshit. Explosions heard in Tel Aviv again? No. Isn't it supposed to be morning time by now? This is fake, right? What's gonna happen in this video? Is there some fucking... Iran set a 7 a.m. alarm for Tel Aviv residents. I guess it's 4 a.m. You need a row of clocks behind you. This is embarrassing hot mess. Yeah, Sohrab Ahmari, for some weird reason, has stopped being a chud again out of nowhere with this Iran stuff. This is an embarrassing hot mess. The Iranian security forces will just surrender to the people, or no. It'll be like in Venezuela. From President Trump's new interview with the New York Times, it seems unlikely that he's fully thought this through. Dude, you're such a lunatic. Only show the things that are positive to your agenda. You never show both sides because deep down you know you're wrong. Yeah, guys, I want to apologize. How can you believe these things genuinely? You can show all the bad things that ICE does, but never show the good things. Like what? I want to apologize to everybody here. As you guys know, I'm very biased against kidnapping children, kidnapping random neighbors that are just trying to go about their day. I am very biased about that sort of thing. What would be the good thing that ICE does? Like they kidnapped a guy that you didn't like personally? Is that what happened? Like, can you explain to me? Like deporting rapist immigrants. Who captured the rapist immigrants? Okay? Because it wasn't ICE. If anybody does a rape, well, let's be real. The American local law enforcement, unfortunately, is not very good at prosecuting. No, it's not ICE, you fucking idiot. See, 95% of problems, 95% of problems that come from the conservative side, 95% of conservative grievances is just because you don't know. You don't know things and you don't want to read. You don't want to learn things. This is the issue. You just angrily lash out. You're a fucking idiot. What do you want me to say to you? You're just objectively wrong. No, ICE is not a normal member of law enforcement. Okay? It's actually local police. It's the prosecutors that prosecute the rapists. It's the normal criminal justice system that goes through the normal criminal justice function. ICE does not have the capacity, nor the knowledge, nor the technical expertise, falling for the rage-based dumbass ghost shocker dog. do you think this is your exit ramp? You came in here and you got called out for being a fucking moron. And you're like, oh, this is just rage bait. Okay, dude, I'm sorry that you chose to fucking behave genuine learning disability. You really owned me and everybody else in here. Good job. Take a week off. I was just fucking, I was just presenting myself as a fucking moron. Just to rage bait you, actually. I was just pretending. This is what I'm doing on my Sunday night. They're a wannabe streamer. They have clips. Oh, I fucking love seeing shit like that. Shut your bitch ass up. Let's see what this guy's got going for him. Wait, what? No, they don't have any clips. Why'd you come in here and lie to me? I got excited. Apparently he streams Minecraft, but his videos we can't find. Oh shit, he does have clips. But he doesn't show his face.
Money.
Pay who?
Oh yeah, you're not getting shit, boy.
I'll pay my dick, nigga. What are you talking about?
Alright, snacking.
Oh, I feel bad as a child. Oh, God. At least he's anti-racist. It's a British child. Oh, sometimes I be duking it out with kids, you know what I mean? Equal opportunity hands, okay? Equal opportunity hands. British child who likes American immigration officials. Bro, the internet was a mistake, man. It was a fucking mistake. You got like a British 12-year-old simping for ICE, deporting random people working on U.S. soil. What the hell, man? What the hell? Ugh. Great video. Video from CNN. Trump responding to questions on Iran by commenting on new statues that he has installed in the Rose Garden of the White House. Nice.
Several military bases. Smoke was seen in the industrial area in Qatar's capital, Doha. Strikes have also hit Bahrain, Jordan, Oman, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. Attacks have been reported on airports, residential buildings, and hotels. Shelter-in-place alerts have been issued to citizens across the region. The foreign ministers of the Gulf Cooperation Council have condemned Iranian attacks targeting the region. In a joint statement, the GCC has called them grave violations of sovereignty, good neighborliness, and international law, particularly due to the targeting of civilians and civilian objects. The statement says GCC states reserve their legal right to respond and take all necessary measures to defend their sovereignty, security, and stability, including the option of a military response. It also demanded an immediate halt to the attacks, emphasizing that Gulf stability is essential to the global economy and maritime navigation. Folibatibo spoke with Alanad Hamad Saud Al-Thani, a political analyst and fellow at the Middle East Council on Global Affairs. She says Gulf states are likely expected Iran to respond quickly to being attacked, but not the scale and reach of its retaliation.
Quick, maybe, but so wide, I think no one really anticipated that such a thing would happen. And unanticipated does not necessarily mean unprepared. I mean, we've seen the response. All the Gulf states were quite prepared for it. However...
Dude, I've been watching Al Jazeera go on cope mode the entire fucking morning before I went live. They had a dude from Riyadh who was so fucking pissed off. Like, GCC guys are hella mad right now because they're like... They don't got a lot of leg to stand on here. They're just like, it's really fucked up. Why can't we have American bases? Like, well, calm down, Iran.
It's quite unbelievable for everyone that Iran would walk face first, eyes wide open into such a trap.
Right. So when you say they were clearly prepared,
even though the attack was wide and perhaps not expected to be that wide. In the case of Qatar, it successfully thwarted dozens of Iranian missiles. But how long can it continue to do this? How long can Gulf states continue to push back with their air defenses? Is this sustainable?
So sustainable, the Gulf states have great relations with very many security partners, so there is no worry from that side. But sustainable, we also have to think about the economy, and we have to think about the people and regional stability. No one wants this to go on any longer than yesterday, not even at all. And so I have all the confidence that they are able to thwart these attacks. However, should they have to? No, they shouldn't.
Here's a look at some of the missiles Iran is deploying. The Shahab 1 and the Fateh 110 are considered short-range, travelling about 300 kilometres. The Rad 500, Shahab 2 and Fateh 313 can reach nearly 500 kilometres. And with a range of 1,000 kilometres are the Dezful and the Qadr missile systems. And the Shahab 3 is estimated to reach roughly 1,300 kilometres. On the longer range, Iran has 3 missiles that can reach up to 2,000 kilometres. Now, France, Germany and the UK, otherwise known as the E3, have released a joint statement condemning Iran's strikes. It says E3 leaders are appalled by the indiscriminate and disproportionate missile attacks launched by Iran against countries in the region, including those who were not involved in the initial US and Israeli military operations. Iran's reckless attacks have targeted our close allies and are threatening our service personnel. We call on Iran to stop these reckless attacks immediately, and we will take steps to defend our interests and those of our allies in the region.
E3's back in the worst way.
With the US and
what do you mean? They've always been there in the cuck chair, as always.
But the only way to stop the threat is to destroy the missiles at source, in their storage depots, or the launchers which are used to fire the missiles. The United States has requested permission to use British bases for that specific and limited defensive. We have taken the decision to accept this request. I want to be very clear. We all remember the mistakes of Iraq, and we have learned those lessons. We were not involved in the initial strikes on Iran, and we will not join offensive action now. But Iran is pursuing
we saw this.
A scorched earth strategy. So we are supporting the collective self-defense of our allies and our people in the region.
Hasan bin Javed explains the E3 leader's position from Brussels.
Not just the Gulf countries have come under attack, but essentially...
Wait, you don't like this guy? What do you mean? Former CIA officer John Kiriakou.
To defend
Kiriakou.
the nest, and they have the ability to defend themselves against conventional missiles. There's no clear defense against a hypersonic missile. The Iranians have them. They've purchased them from the Chinese. They've also purchased them from the Russians. Well, we're not sure that we can defend against an Iranian supersonic missile. We've all studied the Gulf of Tonkin. We've all studied 9/11. We've all studied Pearl Harbor. If the Iranians actually do sink an aircraft carrier, you're right. It's World War III.
I just don't. I mean, first of all, I don't know what he means by that, but like, if Iranians sink an aircraft carrier, which is, that's a little bit of a tall tale, okay? It's over. America is done, I think. It's GG America. I think the entire world and our entire economy, the global reserve currency, hinges around America and its military capabilities being everywhere around the globe all at once. And the reality is we partially get to do that with our aircraft carriers. Okay? And they're pretty unsinkable. I mean, it's pretty tough to penetrate the hull of one of these bad boys, pop them. right? Because they test them. They test them specifically against that kind of thing. My point is, bad take, ridiculous to hear it from him. The only thing I'm saying is, this doesn't just collapse America. It just collapses the entire global design. I don't think you understand the hypersonic ability to penetrate pretty much all modern day anti-missile defenses. If they launch hypersonics, it'll hit, though perhaps it won't be enough to sink a carrier. No, I don't think one would do it anyway. The Titanic was unsinkable too. I mean, no boat is technically unsinkable. My point is, they have, I mean, more knowledgeable people will speak in my stead, but I'm pretty sure they have tested them, not against hypersonics, of course, but like against a shit ton of explosions. It would take more than like a hypersonic, like a lucky hypersonic to strike it. They just have to hit the toilets. Yeah. Yeah, you're more likely to destroy a a US aircraft carrier. You're more likely to destroy an aircraft carrier with by destroying the pooping mechanism in it. But once again, I think in the very unlikely scenario, they have like segmented defense, so you'd have to hit it like 4 times at least. In the very unlikely scenario where that happens, okay, and it can happen, but in the very unlikely scenario that it does happen, it's over. Everything is over. Like, it's done. Who the fuck would value the dollar ever again? Because the only thing backing the dollar is the confidence that the world has that America is the singular world power that can dominate any country in a moment's notice. 24 hours, tremendous logistics. They can be anywhere around the world in like 24 to 48 hours, and they can start shit. They can destroy you. Yeah, dominate sexually. Hasan, cry harder. Hasan, please leave USA if you hate it. No, I want to stay here and I want to force sweet, delicious healthcare down your fucking throat. You're going to be like, no, we need to keep fighting Israel's wars. No. And I'm like, fucking have healthcare instead. No more war. No war, just peace. And also on top of that, you're going to get fucking healthcare. You're going to have housing. You're like, no, I don't want housing. I want to grind for it. I'm like, no, bitch, you're going to fucking get that house and you're going to like it. Okay. I'm going to shove it down your goddamn throat. I'm going to stay here and do that. I'm going to prolong your lifespan by a decade. Do we have any idea how many hypersonics Iranians have? I don't know. Hypersonic weapons as they currently exist are tantamount to normal ballistic missiles. The U.S. and other NATO nations have had the capability to defeat these weapons for many decades. Hypersonic weapons are just a fear-monger buzzword. I've heard this so many times, and yet I still see them go so fast, so super fast, and I'm amazed by it. Maybe I have a monkey brain, but I also keep hearing that we have the capabilities of intercepting them, and I don't actually see that when I'm watching the Tel Aviv skyline. For some reason, I guess they just choose not to use it. Is that what it is? Because it kind of does feel to me like it's cope. Like, genuinely, it feels to me like it's fucking cope. Whenever Americans, and I've talked to some people that are like, yeah, the hypersonic stuff is just a buzzword. It's not that serious. We have all the capabilities of interception. There are 2 elements of a missile: speed and targeting. Hypersonics that are ballistic are different than hypersonic anti-ship missiles. Only China is fielding advanced anti-ship cruise missiles, ASCMs, like the YJ-15, YJ-17, YJ-19, and YJ-20, often referred to as carrier killers, far surpassing the United States. We don't even have that. Yeah, and also, China has not given Iran those missiles. They were floating the idea, supposedly, but I don't think that they're going to do that anyway. So the Iranian missiles are best used on land targets because they're easier to hit. Carriers are a small moving target. Yeah, the hypersonics are difficult for our missiles to intercept because they are not fired on a ballistic trajectory. It's why the Ukrainians have difficulty shooting down the Kinshal with the Patriot Pack 3, Patriot Pack 3s. Yeah, also, Rand doing a hypersonic missile non-proliferation is really funny. And it basically proves the point that other chatters in here have been making, which is saying, hey, we would not like our foreign adversaries to have a tremendous advantage against our current defenses. Central Committee is wrong. Carrier killers are the Chinese have as their conventional ballistic missiles. They have a lot of decoys and the ability for the warhead to maneuver a lot. Maybe we scammed Israel and sold them the Bronze Dome instead. Excuse me. Israel gets all the best tech. Israel gets all the best tech. Okay? I mean, literally, they do. Part of the reason why China is up Israel's asshole all the fucking time is because Israel gets all the best tech. And then maybe China gets some of it. I don't know. It's possible to intercept hypersonics when you're confident on the direction they will come from. The way it's explained to me is that normal interceptors have effective ranges that look like a circle, but if they're tuned to focus on one direction in order to intercept hypersonics, they become squished oval. That didn't make any sense to me at all. I'm too stupid to understand missile technology. I am not a missile autist. Why does China not give Iran these missiles so they can destroy dollar hegemony? What makes you think China doesn't want dollar hegemony to continue? China stole a 4th generation fighter design from Israel, but that was a long time ago. They're fielding 6th generation fighters that the US also doesn't have. No, I have it on good authority that their 6th gen fighters are bullshit, actually, and America has something way sicker in the books. They haven't just shown it. Okay. Yeah, I heard that the Chinese potential 6th generations are they're tofu. They're made with tofu dreg. And also, yeah, for the other chatter, I don't think China actually wants dollar hegemony to end. At least not for the time being. Anyway, Israel is just defending themselves against an anti-Semitic attack. You sheep leftists are all the same. Wait, stop. This is a joke, right? Oh, you are joking. Okay. I thought we got one. We got a live one, I thought. Because if you noticed, like back in the day, that used to be the common take. Like people would sincerely have takes like that. Those takes are awfully quiet now. You never really hear people come in here to defend Israel getting bombed at all. Like, I think there's been maybe 1 or 2 people that have been like, wow, this is really fucked up, Hasan. Like, this is really fucked up. You're not like sufficiently grieving. There's been like 1 or 2 people that have said that.